Hey guys, it's Tech here. In today's video, we'll be reviewing the Montech AIR 100 micro ATX case. That is right, this is a micro ATX case with 4 RGB fans, 3 intakes, 1 exhaust, all 120mm for only $65. And the question we're going to answer here today is this case actually good, or what are the pros and cons that come with it if you were to get it for yourself? And that's the question we're going to answer here today. So the reason I bought this case here today was because I plan to use this for a PC build video in January. It's going to be an $800 PC build video, so if you don't want to miss out on that, get subscribed, because we're going to be using this case, of course. And originally I was going to use the Lee 205 mesh. That's another $65 PC case, but the difference between that one and this one is because that one only had 2 140mm intake fans, while this one has 3 intake fans, 1 exhaust. So, like, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. So that's what we're gonna figure out here today, if it's actually worth it. So let's get into the unboxing. Now, before we get into the unboxing, I want to go over one important thing about this. You can get this for $65 at Micro Center, and of course, like, you gotta ask it because it's in the back. For some reason, they don't put it up front. So hey, now you know, you can get this cool case for $65 from the back of Micro Center. And it's the same thing with the 205 mesh. I don't know what Micro Center is doing hiding all their good cases, but of course you can get there for $65. And then with tax, it's $68. That's how much I paid. But you can get it off Amazon for only $55. And of course, I have links down below to actually getting them for yourself. And of course, you do use those links. It do support the channel, so always appreciated. But now let's actually get into the unboxing itself. Okay, let's get into it. The unboxing bit is always a bit where I'm like, am I gonna open it on the wrong side? Because usually I always seem to find the way to actually do so. And it was very similar to the other cases I've gotten where it's styrofoam on both sides of the actual case. So we should be able to just like plop it down like so, wiggle it on out with just a little bit of force. And so I'm curious to see like what the build quality is like on this thing, if it ever comes out. There we go. Okay, well with that though, case is on out. With that though, we have the case in itself, and so far the build quality for it is feeling really light. I was kind of surprised when I actually did get this for myself that it was so easy to pick up, and I think it's because the steel is just like a lighter frame steel. It's not like the most high quality like metal and stuff like that, so it's not going to be the most super like durable, and that's what you're kind of getting for $65, which is honestly to be expected. But I do say, like, so far you cannot tell me this thing does not look pretty good. So here's how the case looks like on the outside. You can see like the free intake fans actually right there on inside the case. It's kind of like a little bit hard to see just because of lighting reasons. And you can see the 1 exhaust fan. And of course, these are all ARGB fans. So it's something to keep in mind. I was actually told in my last like PC case video, because that was my first ever case video, that there's different fan typings. I don't know what the difference between ARGB and RGB is. So just something to let you know, I'm not the brightest when it comes to like that kind of information. And supposedly this door just like flips open. Okay, so if you want to open the front panel out, what you gotta do is go in here, take the little O-ring that's here, just whip that on like so, and make sure you know, so like it's gonna be flat, pull it up. It's kind of weird how like it's set up, and then if you just pull it like so, it literally will just open the side of the case, which is honestly very clean, not like too much difficulty to actually open it up. I thought it was gonna be actually a lot more tedious, but not as bad. And if you want to close it, you just close it, magnetic of course, and then bang, your case is closed now. Now, inside the case, of course, like we opened it up earlier, pretty straightforward. You actually have 2 grommets for actually cable management to the back, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, you're gonna have a little shroud area for ventilation, which is pretty nice. There's also a nice actual mesh that goes with it. So you get a little mesh shroud you can actually put on. I assume this is for like the top of the case, right? Yeah, so this is for the top of the case. You wanna put like little mesh thing on top, you can do so, and it actually comes in that bag with the actual manual and stuff like that. But of course you can route your actual GPU cable there, motherboard cables. You have a lot of options to do so, and the same thing there with front. And of course all the screws for the fans are actually on the side here, so like you have to install from this side, which is not the worst in the world. It's gonna be kind of annoying, but yeah. And then for the actual back, you want to install the back fan. You got to do it from here on the outside, not like this one where they're all on the inside. You want to install the fans there. So the big thing though in the front, you actually have a mechanical, actually with a magnetic actual front panel, so you can just flop it in, you just like pull it off, and then it sticks back in. So that's pretty cool to know. So like if you ever need to get access to like changing case fans, super easy to put off, to pull off and put it back on. So that's pretty nice. The other thing to keep in mind, it actually has the power button here. It has a, I think this is a recess switch. That's my assumption at least. It has 2 USB 3 ports in the front and 1 USB 2, and an actual headphone jack for audio out, and an input jack for audio in. Now the back side of the case, of course, got its actual exhaust fan and then the motherboard tray. So this will work for any micro ATX board, and then it has actually these little pins. So these are the actual back plates for like just removing, putting, installing GPUs. But instead of like actually like being one of those things where like you can like move them out, put them back in at any given point, they're only a one-time thing. So as soon as you pull one out, like break it in. Now, of course, they have this thing right here. Of course, you're gonna need like a Phillips screwdriver to kind of open that up. But once you actually plop this in, like so, you can see these little back plates right here. You can actually push these on out and actually install like whatever like amount of like GPU slots you need. You just like remove this, like so, like slip it on out, wiggle it back and forth. It's kind of like a clip. And once you pull that clip, of course, you can pull it on out. Now, of course, this is a one-time thing. So meaning once you remove them, you will not be able to put them back in. That's what you're getting for like $65. So just something to keep in mind. And this is one thing I want to importantly go over. If you see this case for $100, don't buy it. The max I would buy this case for would be like $80 to $70, but nothing more than that. If you see this case for like $100, I would not recommend it. But like if you get it for $60, not $60, $65, that's pretty insane. And just on Amazon being $55 is pretty cracked. So just saying. Now to remove the back panel, all you have to do is of course do the slots right here. You should be able to turn them like so. And of course these can be removed. So you would do that twice to both sides, and of course the back one here. And if you do so, you will be able to pull up the back of the actual PC case. And you can see you got a little controller for your fans and stuff like that. So they are hooked up to a little fan hub, which is pretty nice. You got a reset switch and some other information too. So you will need to power this by SATA from the actual like power supply, and then it actually has one of these was it ARGB or RGB things for the actual like fans. I forgot the name of this one. Then you got a LED hub and a power HUD for all like the motherboard stuff, and then finally you got a USB 3 for your USB hub. Then you got your audio and yeah, HD audio. You got USB. So yeah, just to make sure you guys saw that. And finally got some other stuff too, like this is all like connected already, powered on. So like, yeah, most of the stuff here is pretty normal, what you expect to have on your motherboard, so you should be good. I'm gonna double check what this one is. This one right here is ARGB, so just like you know, so it's like SATA, the ARGB for like power, and then of course, you know, picture and stuff like that. Now for the back side of the case, you have a actual SATA spot for a 2.5 SSD. So you can put one of them here, and there's another one right there. So you can install 2 SSD slots, and of course you want to remove them, you'll just turn the screw up here to actually just do that. Pretty straightforward process on that. Now there is of course one hard drive cage right here, and you see it's kind of like buried. And I actually really love this design because it's really simple to pull it on out. So all you have to do is like pinch it right here, and it'll just slip on out with all this stuff like the screws and stuff like that, the motherboard, some twisty ties and some other jazz. But yeah, if you want to put it back in, you can. The only thing with it is it doesn't come with another hard drive thing, so you can only put one hard drive in at a time. But it does have the screw holes on the bottom to actually add another one if you were to probably get them off Montech. So yeah, this is actually pretty has a nice expansion, which is pretty good, and you can contain like a lot of storage right at the rip. And my cat is very curious to figure out what's going on. He's just like, hey, what you doing, guys? Can I check this on out? Yeah, cool. If you smash like this video, this cat will get treats. Every like equals every treat and every head pat. So yeah, do that. So now, before we teach you guys how to put the case side panel back on, what you need to know is that the top actually supports up to 161 millimeters. So you could put a 240 rad in there, like the NZXT 240, and then for the GPU length, it supports up to 300 millimeters. No, 330 millimeters. I'm actually looking at the site right now. So pretty long GPU. You'll pretty much be able to fit most GPUs on in here with no problem. And then for the bottom, it supports up to 160 millimeter like power supply. So like, yeah, most power supplies will most likely just fit in here. So you shouldn't have really any dilemmas with that. Now, if you want to put the side panel on, it's pretty straightforward. There are little slips on the back here, which you can see this little curve indent. And what you gotta do is literally, and this can be tough because I'm doing one-handed, keep in mind, take this, slip it on in there, put a little bit of pressure so you can see I have it clear on both sides. And then if I do that and then I just like push it on in, we're good to go. Then you just grab the 2 little screw things that come with it, and you can just like literally screw them back on in with not really much force, and then you just grab the other one, do the exact same thing. But yeah, the opening in this case is pretty nice. It's honestly, I prefer it with a hinge for the actual case over the Lee & Lee. But like the only difference between this and the Lee & Lee, like this one definitely feels like a lot more cheaper. Not like cheaper like bad, just the quality feels a lot more like easier to break. The only problem with this is too is like the hinges. So like ultimately for this case for $65, it's a really insane deal if you can find it for that. So yeah, if you guys don't want to miss out the video though, when I actually do build with this PC case for the $800 build video, make sure to smash the like button and get subscribed to some Mr. Fincher Tech content. And I'll see you guys for another tech video. And I gotta figure out why this is dead here. I think it's just like a little thing in dirt, so I'll just dust it off. But see you guys from now on. Tech Rant out.